but they have lost their souls, and that which they used to fabricate has gone away from them. So here we see Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has rejected their permission to come back in any manner to this worldly life. That's the first issue. Now we have another passage that is Surah Al-Mu'minun, which is the 23rd surah, ayat 199 to 100, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala speaks more explicitly. Let us benefit from the words of Allah. He says, حتى إذا جاء أحدهم الموت قال ربي ارجعون لعلي أعمل صالحا فيما تركت كلا إنها كلمة هو قائلها ومن ورائهم برزخ إلى يوم يبعثون. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, until death comes to one of them, he says, my Lord, send me back so that I might do good deeds which I have left behind. By no means. It is but a word that is said, and in front of them is a barzakh, barrier, until the day that they will be resurrected. Surah Al-Mu'minun, the 23rd surah, ayat 99 to 100. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has clarified that there will be no coming back. And in case there is any doubt about the quality of the barzakh, we will quote some of the Orthodox theologians to assuage us of having any doubts about what is being said. Imam al-Qurtubi rahimahullah states, quote, and in front of them is a barrier, barzakh, going between them and the return, meaning until the day that they will be resurrected from their graves, referring to the day of judgment. Close quote. This is taken from Jami' al-Ahkam al-Quran under Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayah 100, and it is under the hadith number 19,419. Ad-Dahhak, rahimahullah, who died in 828 AD, has said, quote, the barzakh is what is between this life and the hereafter. Abu Umama, another famous Sahabi, radiyallahu anhu, said, quote, this barzakh is until the day of resurrection, close quote. And this is all again taken from hadith 19,419 on, from Jami' al-Ahkam al-Quran, under the tafsir of Surah Al-Mu'minun, ayat 99 to 100. So here, we are clearly understanding, without any doubt, that the barzakh is blocking, it is blocking them from coming back. So there is no way that someone could bring back the soul of a deceased loved one and force it or make it submit to come to a gathering where it would reveal some secrets of the unseen. There is no way for someone to bring them back when Allah has denied them permission to come back. He has denied them. So how will we reject what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said when He has clearly denied these things? The final dark art that I want to speak about is psychokinesis. And psychokinesis is being used now by many to show supposed miraculous powers. Psychokinesis, I will allow the Oxford Dictionary, which has been an indispensable resource for us, to define this. It says, quote, psychokinesis as a noun, movement of objects by mental influence without physical contact. Close quote. This is taken from the Concise Oxford Dictionary, page 831. So there are people who claim that they are able to move objects by merely concentrating on them and forcing them to move from area to area without any difficulty whatsoever, simply by concentrating on them. This is nothing really more than a form of mental scrying. This is all that it is, a form of mental scrying. We must beware of this, because these type of powers that people seek to take, because psychokinesis is usually learned or taken on or studied from someone to use. And usually when they study to use these things, it isn't for anything beneficial. We must avoid these things. We must beware. And whenever we hear that any of these dark arts are going on, we should leave the room or the gathering or wherever they are being held immediately. Do not let yourself be used as a tool for shaitan. Let us listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us about those who sit in gatherings of falsehood, where the signs of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala are mocked. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given us instruction in Surah An-Nisa, the 4th surah, ayah 140. He says, وَقَدْ نَزَّلَ عَلَيْكُمْ فِي الْكِتَابِ أَنْ إِذَا سَمِعْتُمْ آيَاتِ اللَّهِ يُكْفَرُ بِهَا وَيُسْتَهْزَأُ بِهَا فَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِهِ إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ إِنَّ اللَّهَ جَامِعُ الْمُنَافِقِينَ وَالْكَافِرِينَ فِي جَهَنَّمَ جَمِيعًا. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, and it was already revealed to you in the book that when you hear the signs of Allah being disbelieved in or mocked at, then you are not to sit with them until they change the subject to other than that. Otherwise you are like them. Truly Allah will gather the hypocrites and kuffar, unbelievers, together in the fire forever. This is taken from Surah An-Nisa, the 4th surah, ayah 140. So here it's made clear to us that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has called those who are sitting in their circle, in their gatherings, that refuse to leave, or will not leave, or will not change the subject. He has called them kuffar, unbelievers, as well as munafiqun, or hypocrites. Let us not allow ourselves to fall under the general judgment of that ayah, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should say of us that we yukfaru biha wa yustahza'u biha, that we are disbelieving in them and mocking them. Let us be those who Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَلَا تَقْعُدُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَخُوضُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرِ, that we do not sit with them until the subject has changed. If we cannot do that, إِنَّكُمْ إِذًا مِثْلُهُمْ, indeed we are like them. And indeed you are like them. We must avoid this. If we do not, we could nullify our faith and wind up in eternal judgment. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has warned us before, and He has told us that on the day of resurrection, we have no reason to try to blame shaitan for what we have done when we have listened to him. We have no excuse in the sight of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And how could we seek to have an excuse when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has shown us so many truths and revealed so many things? Indeed, on the day of resurrection, even shaitan himself will seek refuge from those who sought out him and obeyed him and submitted themselves to him when they didn't have to. Listen to what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says